Under the immense and unrelenting pressure of solar fire, the solitary interstellar traveler maintains an absolute silence. This fragment, known formally as Comet 3I Atlas, has journeyed from beyond the Sun's absolute dominion, yet it clings to a trajectory that no magnetic flare nor any catastrophic solar explosion has been able to significantly bend. Astronomers, armed with instruments that see across the spectrum, have meticulously tracked its passage through violent storms of radiation and the chaotic outflow of colossal coronal mass ejections. They prepared for the inevitable, a predictable, measurable turbulence in its motion, an expected wobble in the geometry of its flight. Instead, they discovered a stunning, almost arrogant steadiness, a geometry of departure that was etched into the object's being long before it ever encountered the gravitational influence of our star. Every piece of telemetry gathered from this deep space sentinel serves to confirm what the official scientific models were reluctant to concede: that the larger universe honors its own perfect equations even when the local environment is engulfed in chaos. From the very first moments of its detection, the highly sensitive instruments designed to flag anomalies measured a motion that was simply too clean, too mathematically pure, to be fully contained and captured by the familiar tug of gravity. The path it traces through our system is unequivocally hyperbolic, a curve that is stretched irrevocably beyond any possibility of an eventual return, marking it forever as a visitor, not a resident. This flight path is angled approximately 5 degrees away from the ecliptic, the solar plane where the planets obediently dance, and it flows in a startling backward direction, opposing the entire established momentum of our system. This defiant inversion immediately unsettled the early, comfortable computational models, creating a deep professional doubt among those who rely on conventional physics. Yet, a coordinated effort by groups like NASA and the International Asteroid Warning Network tirelessly pored over the raw data, recalculating and refining each parameter of the object's movement until the final, shocking conclusion became unassailable. Despite the unceasing fury radiating from the Sun's surface, the comet's assigned route remained absolutely precise to every original prediction. The collective data set, speaking with an unprecedented unanimity, reveals a profound truth. This is a traveler that heeds the larger map of interstellar space rather than merely the localized immediate pull of a single star, offering intermittent reward to the diligent observers.
Before we get to that, I need your help. I'm trying to hit 50,000 subscribers by the end of the year, and I need your help. So I would really appreciate it if you could subscribe and help me out.
The Sun is a relentless furnace, and its solar eruptions have lashed outward continuously, vast, billion-ton arcs of superheated plasma moving at speeds reaching millions of kilometers per hour. These energetic waves strike the comet's surface with brutal efficiency, leading to the stripping of volatile materials and triggering a temporary, almost defiant brilliance visible in the coma that surrounds the core. Ground-based and orbital sensors have definitively recorded signatures of carbon dioxide and cyanogen, the typical breakdown products of cometary ice, being released into a widening temporary atmosphere, while shimmering tails of dust clearly trace the lines of force within the solar wind. This well-understood universal process of sublimation and material loss should have, according to all established cometary physics, produced a non-gravitational acceleration, a small but steady and measurable push away from the predicted gravitational track, operating exactly like the gentlest of rocket firings. This expected mechanism has defined our understanding of comets for centuries, serving as a reliable metric for their composition. Yet, with 3I Atlas, that expected deviation never arrived. The perfect orbit, the immutable path, holds its silent ground, providing a quiet revelation that the arrogance of initial certainty must be humbled by reality. The missing acceleration is not a minor statistical error. It is the hidden astronomical truth, the single, undeniable fact that stands in stark and total contradiction to every existing cometary textbook and institutional expectation. The complete absence of movement beyond the gravitational pull is, paradoxically, the most profoundly significant motion the object exhibits. This physical defiance strongly suggests that an unknown mechanism exists, actively shielding the object's core from the forces that should be tearing it apart or altering its path. Scientists, in the necessary recalibration of their beliefs, have been forced to speculate on possibilities beyond the conventional. The leading hypothesis suggests this interstellar visitor possesses a shell far denser than any cometary ice we have ever known. An outer casing perhaps already pre-exposed to deep space radiation, or held together by a structural integrity unprecedented in our local system. Other theories, reaching further into the possible, explore the existence of an unrecognized magnetic field, a force generated by the object itself that actively stabilizes its path against the chaotic forces of the star. This failure of established physics to fully account for the object's perfect geometry is not a systemic flaw in the cosmos, but a declaration that our current human understanding is profoundly incomplete, thus allowing fear to be calmed by the presence of a deeper order. For those viewers who have maintained a vigilant skepticism toward official, confidently delivered narratives and the absolute certainty of established models, the steadfast case of Three-Eye Atlas offers a moment of profound and deep satisfaction. The universe itself, without requiring human argument, provides the complete vindication. The arrogance of initial assumption is definitively corrected by the simplicity of patient observation. This persistent foreign object teaches the most essential lesson of scientific inquiry, that enduring truth does not reside in comfortable consensus or institutional proclamation, but in the patient, continuous monitoring of objective reality. This is not a cause for the fear of the unknown or cosmic chaos, but for serenity in the face of the order of the truly massive and the truly foreign. The object's constancy proves that human doubt, when rooted in intellectual vigilance and verifiable fact, is in fact the surest path to genuine knowledge, delivering poetic justice against hasty conclusion.
Before we get to that, I need your help. I'm trying to hit 50,000 subscribers by the end of the year, and I need your help. So I would really appreciate it if you could subscribe and help me out.
The deep philosophical implication of this object's perfect, unyielding journey extends far beyond the mere mechanics of solar sailing or orbital stability. It points directly to the vast continuity of the cosmos, where objects travel across galactic history, across spans of time we can barely conceptualize, carrying within their material the secrets that utterly humble the brief, temporary moment of human observation. Here we have an object whose origin in a place and time we cannot yet trace, a fragment from another star, or perhaps the frozen remnant of a primordial galactic cloud that passes through our familiar local territory, obeying a cosmic law far grander and more resilient than our solar system's regional rules. This transit is a quiet, continuous form of perspective-shifting revelation, decisively showing that our solar system is not the entire map, but merely one relatively small harbor on an infinite interstellar sea. This escalation in scope compels us to acknowledge a greater reality. The hidden, self-protecting quality of the traveler, its ability to resist solar interference, suggests that the protective mechanism, Whether it be a magnetic shielding effect or a previously unrecognized structural density, is a key component of its deep space longevity. The simple physics of material ablation suggests that something must be diverting the force that should be pushing it, or that the force is being applied to a material so resistant that the resulting acceleration is below our current limit of detection. This enduring phenomenon, which inspires awe, demands a new classification for interstellar objects, one that acknowledges the profound difference between the expectations based on local, familiar comets and the resilience required for an object to survive the vastness of the galaxy. This is the vindication that the human mind yearns for. The intuition that there is something more is proven real. We must focus intently on the specific discovery mechanics that recorded the collision between solar wind and the comet. The instruments were not silent on the impact. They recorded the specific spectroscopic evidence of the solar wind's power, the telltale CO2, the distinctive cyanogen spectral lines, and the visualization of the resulting dust tails. This created a moment of profound intrigue. The mixed signals of material loss and volatile stripping without any corresponding path change. The fact that energy was being applied to the surface and material was being ejected, yet the primary physics of motion remained perfectly fixed, highlights the incredible scarcity of useful dynamical data in contrast with the overload of spectral, volatile emission data. This dichotomy is not an inconsistency to be dismissed, but a critical clue to the unknown density or force at work beneath the shedding surface. The institutional response that followed the final confirmation of the missing acceleration was not characterized by a dramatic, immediate press conference or a sensational backtracking. Instead, it was a profound, almost embarrassed silence among those who had championed the simplistic models, followed by a quiet, dedicated acceptance of the new, undeniable data. The recalculations, the long, patient work of teams across the globe, subtly bypassed the very bureaucracy of scientific decree that often resists radical new truths. The data, having been independently verified, became its own authority, forcing the reluctant rewrite of internal scientific procedures. The truth beyond bureaucracy had won the day, and now those individuals who had trusted their initial, careful observations, who belonged to the few who saw clearly, were quietly, professionally validated by the very systems that once marginalized their concern. The human response to tracking a genuinely interstellar traveler is an emotional phenomenon distinct from observing any familiar local comet. It instills not just scientific curiosity, but a profound, almost tribal connection to the galactic structure. Unlike Oumuamua, whose tumbling, elongated nature felt almost alien in its strangeness, 3I Atlas offered a perfect, stable, and therefore familiar geometry to latch onto, even as its behavior defied expectation. The sheer distance of its origin, the notion that its material was forged in a planetary system entirely removed from our own, gives it a special weight. The emotional weight shifts from a feeling of being threatened by an anomaly to one of simply witnessing a cosmic elder passing through. The fear is calmed by order because the object, for all its mystery, demonstrates a deep, reliable continuity with the vastness of the cosmos, even while the open cycles of its origin remain unanswered. The great philosophical reflection prompted by this single, perfect flight is centered on the enduring nature of truth and the necessary patience required for the advancement of human knowledge. The stability of the orbit, maintained across millions of miles and months of observation, provides a moral instruction. It teaches us about permanence in the universe, that what is real does not bend to our haste or our limited time frame. The initial rush to apply simple local models was a reflection of human impatience, a desire for quick understanding. The resistance of 3i Atlas to those quick labels becomes an act of poetic justice, showing that the simple, diligent observer who is prepared to wait upon the facts will always be rewarded over the one who seeks the instant, conclusive decree. The most profound long-term implication is the structural change it necessitates for future astrophysics. This anomaly is not an isolated incident, it is a mandate for progress. The search for similar interstellar objects, once a scientific novelty relegated to the margins, is now a central requirement, compelling astronomers to fundamentally refine their instruments and radically reconstruct their theoretical frameworks. The discovery challenges the comfortable, ingrained notion that all foreign visitors must automatically conform to our system's local standards of material volatility and density. Instead, 3i Atlas demands the immediate creation of new theoretical classifications, a necessary category for objects that are dense, protected, and stubbornly stable. The very anomaly itself is becoming the foundation for the next thrilling chapter of cosmic exploration, providing the intellectual vindication that intuition was correct all along. We return then to the initial physical explanation of the orbit's geometry, which holds new significance now that the context of its stability is clear. The simple initial fact that its path is angled at a mere 5 degrees and flows in a backward trajectory is a cosmic fingerprint of astonishing precision. This fixed, non-ecliptic orientation confirms its true extrasolar origins and speaks to the enormous energy of its initial ejection from a distant star system. The consistency of this geometry, which never deviated from the hyperbolic curve despite the immense and unpredictable forces acting upon it, is the ultimate comfort, a demonstration that mathematical precision is the final arbiter of truth. This is the new rituality of the science, the regular observation of the backward-flowing 5 degrees, a constant reminder of our place in the galaxy. The continued challenge to discovery mechanics lies in the limitations of our current technology, particularly in spectroscopy and high-resolution imaging, to conclusively determine the precise nature of the dense core. The data we have, the signatures of the stripped CO2 and cyanogen, only tell us what is leaving the object, not what remains. The inability of our most sophisticated instruments to penetrate the nature of the dense shell or map the possible magnetic field is not a scientific failure, but a moment of required humility. This inability proves the integrity of our current limits, that our misunderstanding is honest rather than an intentional obfuscation. The scarcity of data regarding the core's composition, contrasted with the vast amount of evidence of its stable motion, is the very thing that drives the call for new physics. The institutional response has moved from quiet acceptance to structural change. The necessary rewrite of technical procedures for classifying and observing deep space objects is the tangible manifestation of the shift in paradigm. The formal filing of reports that note the complete lack of non-gravitational acceleration as a primary characteristic of a new object class represents a silent revolution. The long-term relief loop is completed not with a cheer, but with a new policy manual. The long public tension over the meaning of the anomaly has been resolved not by a dramatic theory, but by a simple, dry procedural document that fundamentally alters the way we look at the universe. This truth beyond bureaucracy is etched into the new protocols of orbital observation. What remains is the ultimate open question of its origin, a final, beautiful, unresolved cycle of discovery that encapsulates the highest aspirations of human endeavor. If the core material is so dense and pre-exposed to radiation that it resists solar plasma, the question of where and how it formed becomes the central mystery of planetary genesis outside our solar system. If the stability is the result of an active, self-generated magnetic shielding, then the question of its function and power source must be integrated into the fundamental laws of physics itself. The lack of that expected deviation is a clear signal pointing toward a mechanism that must be integrated into physics as a new, universal requirement. The necessity of inventing and integrating these new mechanisms, the shielding, the unrecognized forces, the unknown materials, is not a retreat from intellectual reason, but the most profound and necessary extension of it. The equations of tomorrow, written in full structural change, will incorporate what today stands stubbornly apart. This is the definition of how knowledge advances, not through defensive denial, but through an open-hearted surrender to what is demonstrably real. And so, the quiet message endures amid the profound, almost unnerving silence of deep space. Nature, operating with a ruthless and magnificent precision, acts as the ultimate authority, quietly correcting human conceit and haste. The orbit that should have shifted remains absolutely whole, a perfect unmoving rebuke to our instinct for certainty and our desire for quick answers. For those who possess the patience and the vigilance to truly listen to the facts, the deepest meaning is not hidden in a flash of light. Truth requires patience, and the universe reveals its true self through the unwavering constancy of its movements, not through a sensational spectacle. The influence of 3I Atlas persists, even as it begins to recede from the view of our finest instruments. It has seamlessly converted initial doubt into curiosity, transformed heated argument into shared reflection, and replaced the arrogance of prior knowledge into true understanding. What began as nothing more than a stubbornly unchanging path has become a potent symbol of intellectual progress itself, the deep, humbling acceptance that discovery is not a conquest of the unknown, but a peaceful communion with it. The cosmos has offered its final word through the evidence of stability, reminding all who watch that knowledge, like a perfect orbit, holds its true shape only when it is balanced by humility. In the calm that follows this profound realization, a new sense of cosmic order returns, though never in the simplified form it held before the discovery. The theoretical equations of our models will be rewritten. Our specialized instruments will be refined, and the confines of the scientific mind will be fully reopened. The anomaly of this foreign visitor has become a powerful foundation, transforming the previously unknown into the next necessary map for exploration. The sky above remains silent, yet now it is filled with a new, indelible meaning. Through the evidence of one perfect, unchanging orbit, nature has shown that the quiet, deliberate evolution in human thought is the purest and most enduring form of motion, and that even amid the seemingly unchanging stars, our capacity for understanding continues to move forward into the infinite.